Hello, YouTube. Welcome to my channel, Marriage, Politics, and Sports. This is the 20th episode of my divest from the Democrat Party, particularly as a black man. I think that over the last, 60 years, since the Civil Rights Bill, by the way, that the Democrats in the South didn't vote for, it took a Republican to get that passed through the Senate. Go check that out. Uh, we've been gaslit. We've been used. We've been abused. We've been held up as the victim that you have to save in order for us to not want to stand on our own 2 feet. And I think this year, unlike any other year, more and more black men have started to say, you know what, there's nothing in the Democratic Party for us. Not one thing. Can't tell you anything that the Congressional Black Caucus has done at all to make black voters, any black voters and black citizens any more secure, safe, and I just think that it's worthless to stay in the party. One, they take advantage, they take us for granted, and the other party says, since I have to win without you, when I get in, I don't got nothing for you either. So we need to make them compete against each other for our votes. And this year is the year to do it. This is the year to do where black men can stand up and change the face of the United States by getting whatever support we have for the Democratic Party down to under 30%. The goal is for the Democrats to lose every swing state that they could possibly lose. That's the goal. Doesn't matter what the women do. Black women have abandoned us a long time ago in any great numbers. Just hear them talk all over YouTube, all over TikTok, anywhere. So we can't rely on them to be on our side, even though there's some black women starting to wake up. It may be too little, too late for this election. So black men, we got to do it on our own. But before I let Judge Judy go ahead and say what she says on this matter about the New York sham trials against, and she's not even a Trump supporter, by the way. She just took umbrage with the fact that they're using the justice system for their own political means. And I have a crossover series called Let the Women Tell It. And here's another example where there's a crossover between us getting out of the Democratic Party and letting the women tell you why. Now, she wasn't gearing this specifically for blacks, but we're not just citizens because of the color of our skin. We have a vested interest that the justice system works equally for all of us. And whatever they could do to a quote unquote powerful man like Trump, they could destroy anybody who doesn't have that reach that he has, and none of us do. So this is a real poignant one. I like this. This I've been talking about getting out of the Democratic Party for blacks en masse for almost a year now, and we're starting to see the metrics and the polls and all that stuff starting to do what I've been saying. At one point, I swear, I felt like I was on an island by myself. There's so many brainwashed, so many black people who are so comfortable being victims of their own circumstances. It's sickening. It's time for it to end. It's way past time for it to end. And I think this year we could do it. I don't care if Donald Trump becomes president. We're going to survive. We're going to survive anything they have to give us, man. I mean, listen, every time somebody talks about slavery and all that bullshit, oh, we were slaves. You know what? We're still here, God damn it. So we're worrying about one guy. We already have a taste of him being president for 4 years. We're still here. So when I hear all this Trump derangement syndrome bullshit from all the black people and all these other people, I'm saying we're still here. I mean, in the 4 years he was president, up until the pandemic, everybody, to me, my pocketbooks, my investments, everything was going well. I didn't like the tax cut for the rich, but nobody likes everything somebody else does. But the pandemic was the thing that got him out of office. And let me tell you, Sleepy Joe wouldn't have been no better if he was in charge. When the pandemic hit, the whole world was upside down. So let's not put that whole litmus test on him. And by the way, he was right about China. He was right about China. Right? So especially from the lab point of view. So and I said the guy wasn't wrong, because all that data is coming out now. They have Fauci in front of the Congress, and all that kind of stuff. So all I'm just trying to say is, it's not about Trump, black folks. It's about us. It's about us breaking the chains, being free to be right, wrong, to vote for the person we want to vote, as opposed to every 4 years voting for the person, but because we don't like the other guy. That's just got to stop. Anyway, so here's Judge Judy, and I'm going to let her talk about what she thinks is going on. Bear with me.
We got here because a small group of people who had very loud voices created a scenario where bad people got rewarded and the victim got punished by the system. There is always a reason for criminal behavior. Whatever. Didn't have a good upbringing, didn't have two parents in the house, didn't have one parent, and there's always a reason. You're mentally ill, that's a reason. You took drugs, that's a reason. You took alcohol, your brain is fried. Whatever it is, there's a reason. There is never an excuse for bad behavior. And when society started to make excuses for bad behavior and react to criminality based upon the excuses, it fell apart. It fell apart. You're just as dead if somebody 18 kills you or 17. You're just as dead. And if you're 17 years old and kill somebody, you don't belong with kids who were 12 in a juvenile facility. You don't belong in a different criminal justice system, but a very small group of people pushed through in New York State, for instance, raising the level of criminal responsibility. Well, that's ridiculous. I mean, if you have family, if you have a mother who's 65 years old, who's walking to the grocery store, and some crazy, for no reason, hits her over the head with a steel pipe and kills her, and they're 17, that person should never be allowed to walk the street again, because society can't take a chance.
All right, guys, so we got to tell a very unlikely person to come out and to defend Trump against these clearly and obviously politically motivated prosecutions. Now, the mainstream liberal media tried to run.
So that's enough. I was just going to hit this guy. So this whole video, he got that courtesy of Black conservative perspective. This gentleman is a Black conservative. He has a lot of good stuff. So I'm going to put this whole thing in my description. Anyway, I just wanted to say, I wanted Judy to tell you what she sees from her perch as a judge. Even if it's on TV, she was able to adjudicate a lot of different things. Made a very rich woman, by the way. So listen, I'm not gonna let this draw out, but we got to do something different. That's the key. We have to do something different as a society, other than as Black people, we cannot afford to continue to vote for one party and getting our votes taken for granted. Now, you're going to notice a couple of things. Brandon Johnson, they're going to start throwing stuff at you like reparations. Let me tell you, Black folks, we are never, ever going to get reparations on the scale that these guys are talking about. Now, there's some pockets of people getting reparations in some small cities and some small towns, but those are eaches. There's never going to be a national reparations thing. Never, ever. So it's only talking about that now so they can get your vote. If they had any good faith, just like they could put billions of dollars over into a genocide, just like they could put billions of dollars over into Ukraine, they can give us a good faith amount of money right now. right? Okay, we're gonna go study national reparations, but to tell you that we're sincere, here's 5 billion to get us started, and we're gonna disseminate that against around. You never hear that. You're never gonna hear that. They're gonna do another study, and there's been thousands of studies already done. If you're gonna give me reparations, there's no need to study. And listen, the facts are that the case in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they have direct descendants still alive, they still don't want to. The court said we ain't giving you shit. They have descendants that's still alive that have records of being harmed, and the court in Tulsa, Oklahoma, said fuck you. So what do you think about reparations? You're not gonna, even when they got live and living, breathing stuff, and we got history that says a recent history, right? It was 19 something, right? 21 or whatever it was, a massacre, destructions of towns, and they still ain't giving the people reparations. So this is a ploy. It's time to break ties with the Democrat Party if you're a black man. Stop being greedy. There's no handouts. We lost. When we were slaves, we lost. There's no repaying us for that. They cannot repay us for that. They can't. Too much damage has been done. It's time for us to move on, and we have. We have. We got all kinds of successful people walking around, and they had nothing. They had, and the fact that their ancestors were slaves makes no difference today. So we can't keep relying on that. Now we've got to move forward. That's what we need to do. We need to break the chains of those who want to keep us bound by victimization. We got to break those chains. And this is the year to do it. Even if Trump has to become president, this is the year to do it. Our pain, marriage, politics, and sports. Over and out.